welcome back to another episode of PA.Hunter.Fisherman. Today I am super pumped. For one, I really miss doing YouTube. It's been like a couple weeks, maybe even a month or so since I posted my last video, and that is the last video I believe was me using the Bowmar nose button. Now that is a fantastic product, and I have been practicing with my bow for probably since I post the video like consistently, and I'm really pumped with the shots that the grouping that I am having at further distances that I haven't tried before. So that's such a awesome feeling to actually buy a product and it works. On the other hand of that, trying to get into tournaments and stuff like that, it's now that fall's come in, the tournaments are starting to become bleaker and bleaker. So a couple of the guys that I fish other tournaments with, they created kind of like this own little tournament thing. You're only allowed a certain amount of people. You know, we go to smaller lakes, nothing crazy, just a bunch of guys having a good time. And I haven't done very well, at least I haven't gotten skunked. I've caught fish on baits, but I haven't, not enough to weigh in, not a good size. They're either too short or they don't have the weight to them. So that's kind of why I haven't posted a video, and I've been throwing around in my head, what could I do a video on? Well, today is actually going to be a video on what baits I have used this year, what have seemed to work in PA, in the lakes that I fished, and what hasn't seemed to work in PA. So hopefully I can give you guys some pointers and help you guys out if you're going to fish the lakes that I fish, you know, what to kind of use where, and yeah, hopefully I can help you out there. So let's get into the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, here we go. Okay guys, so the first bait that I have out for you guys right now is the crankbait. So crankbait is, I am a moving bait type of guy. Some guys love to just throw a line out, wait 30 minutes, jig it up slowly, and do that. I love moving. So whenever I'm cranking, I'm just casting reel, you know what I mean? So these two are my go-to, and I only select certain colors to fish with. So first we have the crankbait. They both got lips. So we got a deep diver crankbait, and then we have the plain Jane crankbait. So don't get it confused with a lipless crankbait. These guys do dive down a little bit deeper, but not a crazy amount. So these guys right here have a span to about 5 to 7 feet, and then these guys right here go 9 to 12. So obviously they're different brands. I'm not really a brand oriented guy for plastics. I love my plastics to be Guggen bait, but for the most part, for hard baits, if it's the right color and it's exactly what I'm looking for, I'll buy it. So in that perspective, I'm not a big guy on choosing which bait via just sticking with one brand. I give every brand a option to impress me and the water, and that's what I go for. This guy right here, this first crankbait is a 6 cents. Then we got a Berkeley, and then both of my deep divers are Guggen, and that's only because they had the color that I was looking for, and everybody's in retailers across the country, from what I've heard, has been sold out of everything. So it's a tough year for the economy due to COVID-19 and everything, but I found the colors that I need. As you can see, I'm a huge red guy, so I love the reds, the yellows, the oranges. Those seem to be the best for me. And then I do like my whites, my greens, and my blues. So those are kind of, I stick with those 6 colors, and just because of the fact that wherever I'm cranking, whether it's rock, whether it's off the bank, I always seem to have the best luck with those colors. I'm really not a silver kind of a guy. I don't really like black, but I've heard guys catch on random colors. I hear that they catch them on chartreuse, but these are the colors that I kind of stick with. I know green and chartreuse are kind of the same, but in that perspective, this is my first kind of bait, and I believe that I have a couple clips of me catching my biggest, not only my biggest fish, which was 5 pounds, but I have some other clips of me using crankbaits to catch fish. So I'm going to put those clips in right now, and that is my first bait to choose when I'm first fishing a lake that I'm not familiar with. I crank. So let's put those videos in right now. There it is. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Oh, he's fighting. Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my! Oh. Look at this smallmouth! Look at this freaking smallmouth! Oh my god! Dude! Dude! Oh my god! Oh my god! This is the biggest smallmouth I ever caught! Alright guys, so that was an awesome freaking experience. But we just got here. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're gonna keep casting this crankbait along this bank here and maybe switch to something else if it gets any deeper. We're only sitting in 6 feet, so I don't know why it's so freaking shallow here. I mean, there it is. Wait, maybe not. Oh yeah. No way. No freaking way. Dude, these little guys are freaking aggressive. Look at this. What a freaking catch on a little what is this, a sun? I think this is a sunfish. On my freaking crankbait. We're only sitting in 6 feet, so I don't know why it's so freaking shallow here. I mean, there it is. Wait, maybe not. Oh yeah. No way. No freaking way. Dude, these little guys are freaking aggressive. Look at this. What a freaking catch. Okay guys, I forgot to mention as well that I might not have videos of all of my catches with baits, so if I don't have a video of me catching one with it, I'm sorry, but I get so much footage in that I just start deleting, and I don't really save too much, but you know, that's where I'm at. So the second bait that I use very often would be the Ned rig. So the Ned rig is a super easy, super efficient bait to use on rock walls, on the breast of dams. Basically, if you're fishing deep, I like to use a Ned rig. Now, a Ned rig, this is a super simple, super easy bait. There is a weight at the top of the bait, and all it is the weight and a hook. They do sell them weedless, but I prefer mine not weedless just because I feel like I get a better hook set without weedless. You do deal with a lot more weeds, obviously, depending on where you're fishing and snags, but I prefer the weedless. So I believe this is a 1/10 or 1/16 ounce. I'm not 100% sure on that, but And then I have this guy right here. Both my hook and my baits, I only use Z-Man. So Z-Man makes a fantastic plastic that gives that elasticity, and I feel like I get a lot more bang for my buck with these baits. The bait itself, I could catch probably 5 to 6 fish per one bait, and that's not getting any snags or any toothy critters snapping my line. Now the hook itself, I feel like I have a lot of people have mixed opinions about it. I hear some guys say they hate Z-Man hooks because they snap and bend, which I have had experience of the hook bending, but that's just because I got it snagged on a rock or something like that. But you can easily bend them back. I love this product. I love Z-Man, and I love their Ned rigs. I feel like they have the best variety out there for Ned rigs, and they're kind of like, they control the market when it comes to Ned rigging. They are a fantastic product, and if you haven't tried it, it's super simple, super easy to use. You just cast out, and then you can bump it up, you can do a solid lift up, but you want to do that every couple minutes, and you'll feel the bite, and you'll feel the fish take it, and then you set your hook, and you're solid, you're good to go. I've seen guys catch a ton of different species on Ned rigs, not only bass, but walleye, and I've seen even pike, but you know, you don't see the pike until it snaps your line and it falls back into the water when it's come off the boat. So definitely a solid number 2 bait that I use is the Ned rig. So if I can find any videos, I'll insert them now, but yeah, let's get to those videos or the third bait that I choose at any tournament or fishing. Buy yourself a 12-hour battery pack.
I get about 6 hours in it. So, nice.
It won't keep though. So really the third bait that I choose, especially when I'm in thickets, when I'm against the bank, and it's really after spawn or during spawn, I like the Texas rig. And I rarely use any other bait but the Googan baits. As you guys have seen through previous videos, I have used Googan baits basically every time that I Texas rig, and what I use is the natural crack and craw, and I use the green pumpkin crack and craw. Those are the only 2 baits that I use, and the only reason why I do that is it's not gonna focus for me, but the natural has a nice green and silver tint to it. One side is silver, one side is green, and then the green pumpkin obviously is just straight green. Now these are the 2 summertime baits that I feel are the best. Yes, they're expensive, yes they rip, and you know, yes they can cause very much big damage to your pocket, because for one pack, with only, how many are in a pack? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With only 7 baits, you know, I could go through a pack of baits in one day. And you're paying $6, $7 per pack. So it can get expensive, but they are essential for my, when I call it, I'm not technically flipping, because when you're flipping, you know, you're doing a certain action, you're getting a more accurate cast when you're going into pads or anything like that. I try to flip, I practice, but I'm not the best at it, and I'll be the first one to admit that. So basically I cast it out and just jig it up, and you gotta be kind of aggressive with these Googan baits. To make them really move and make them look real, you kinda gotta give them a good jerk, but I love their product, and now we're gonna get up to the setup. So this setup, basically, I have a regular 4/0 hook, and then I have my tungsten weight. I believe this is a 1/4 ounce, and then I use a bobber stopper. Now the bobber stopper is essential for this setup because the bobber stopper stops the weight from moving anywhere, and I've read and heard from other people that without a bobber stopper, with a bobber stopper, you do get a better hook set. So that's kind of where I learned the bobber stopper technique. Super simple to use, super simple to hook up, and I feel like this is definitely a number 3 for me that I use very consistently every time I go fishing. So definitely the Texas rig would be number 3 for me. I'm going to see if I have any videos of me catching any fish with the Texas rig. I believe I do. I know Memorial Day all I caught was largemouth on the Texas rig with Googan baits. So I'll put some videos in here if I still have them, but if I don't, let's go to number 4. Oh, that wasn't subtle.
I mean, it's alright if you thumb, but they're like real finicky.
Got one.
I wonder if it's the braid, man. Because Cole did that day too.
Oh, you son of a... I almost got a hook in my thumb. First one, flipping into that wood, or into these, oh, come on. Into the pads, there we go. Crack and crawl as always. And we're going to throw him back. There it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, this one's nice size. Destroyed the crack and craw. There she is, baby. Right in the roof of the mouth, like the way we want it. Seems like they're on a bite now. So there's fish number 2 of the day. Pretty happy with it. Hopefully we can catch a couple more just right off these banks with the crack and craw. So they do work in PA. So the last bait that I have been using this year, I never really got into it crazy amounts, but this year has really shown me to try something different, and that is the wacky rig. Now, the wacky rig, you could do it weightless or with weight. I like to do, it's kind of weird, it's almost like a Texas rig setup, but you're wacky rigging. And that's only because when you're in that high grass, when you're in the thickets, and you want to get down there deep, this worm is not going to go anywhere. Just having the worm and the hook, you are not going to have any weight to go anywhere. And it's going to take forever to sink to the bottom. So right now, I just temporarily have tied a 1/4 ounce weight, which is a little bit much. You definitely should go lighter, just to give it that little bit of weight to go down. And I have caught some really nice fish. Actually, the last tournament that I was in, I caught a 2.5 pounder on a wacky rig. Now, there's different ways you could put weights on this. I have learned a different way to put a weight on it, which, you know, that's kind of a secret. I don't want to share that right now, and I will in the future if I catch a ton of baits on it. It's just kind of an experimental way, so I don't want to put it out there until I know that it effectively works. But this guy right here has definitely come in clutch for me. I caught 2 fish off this just this past tournament, so I definitely have footage of me catching fish with this setup. It's a perfect setup. It's odd, I know. A lot of guys like using the weightless wacky rig, and that's the most common, but I have found that weight has helped, especially when you're jigging it up with that movement. It sinks, you know, pretty quickly down, and you don't have to wait that whole entire time for it to sink to the bottom. So I use a Green Pumpkin Yum brand, and that is right here, Green Pumpkin Yum, and it has worked for me 10 times over. It's a cheap bait to buy. Yum makes a great product for a great price, personally, I think, and I fish with them constantly. So Yum is definitely one of the plastics that I use on a daily basis. So this would be my bait that I would recommend. Obviously, same way as a Texas rig, bobber stopper, you got your weight and then you tie on your hook. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what's that ring here? I put a plastic O-ring on all my baits. And why do I do that, you say? I do that to preserve the bait. If you put your hook through the bait and a fish bites onto that, you know, you're paying $5 to $9 per pack of Senkos. Why do that whenever you can preserve that bait, which this O-ring does? You just put your hook in the O-ring and not touching the bait, and it preserves the bait for more fish. So you're not going through a ton of baits during your tournaments. So that's kind of a little insight that I have learned over the past this season. So that is a perfect setup for the wacky rig that I use. So as since I showed you this, let's insert those videos that I took this past weekend. And yeah, it was a fun tournament. I didn't place, but I caught those fish. So it was a great feeling to try something different, and it actually worked. Yep. Here, grab that net. Oh, he's nice. Come on, you come. That's your biggest fish. Yeah.
That's like a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a nice one, yep. Cody.
It's not a 3, it's probably a 2. It's fat.
Alrighty guys, so thank you so much for sticking around with the channel. I know that 2020 has been an insane year with COVID and everything going on. School just started up. You know, it has been insane to say the less. So I just want to say thank you guys for sticking around, watching the videos, showing love to the channel. We're up to 165 subscribers, which is crazy to me. I'm doing this as a hobby, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content as much as I am. I wanted to do this video just to show you guys what I'm using, the basics of what I'm using. Now obviously I have 10 to 12 rods on the boat at all times, and I have other baits that I use. So if you guys like this video, want to see what else I'm using to catch these fish this year, like this video, and if this video gets 10 likes, 15 likes, I'll do another video. I'll do a part 2 of the other half of rods that I have hooked up right now. So thank you guys again. I appreciate all the love and support, and as always, we will see you on the next one.